Florence, Alabama, April 29, 2022, 9:30 a.m. Surveillance cameras capture a familiar figure walking through the secure hallway of Lauderdale County Jail. It's Assistant Director of Corrections, Vicky White, a respected officer with 17 years of service. She's escorting inmate Casey White, a 6'9" convicted felon waiting trial for murder. She signs him out for a mental health evaluation. No one questions it. She's the boss. Outside, a patrol car waits. The sun hits the windshield as the gate slides open. The vehicle pulls out and disappears into traffic. Neither of them will ever return to this jail again.
Before we dive deeper into this story, take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps us keep uncovering stories just like this one.
2020. Casey White arrives at Lauderdale County Jail on temporary transfer. He's already serving a 75-year sentence for kidnapping and armed robbery, awaiting trial for a separate murder case. Inside, prison life is routine. Wake-up calls at 5 a.m., steel doors, cafeteria noise, metallic trays sliding across counters. Vicky ran the place. She was respected, organized, almost maternal toward the inmates, firm but fair. But behind that discipline, there was isolation. After her divorce, she lived alone. No children, no close family. Work was her life. One day, she noticed him, the tall, calm inmate who didn't behave like the rest. He was polite, strategic, and always observing. His name, Casey Cole White.
I understand your
Conversations began small. Routine check-ins turned into longer exchanges. Inmates whispered, "The boss talks to him more than anyone else." No one dared to question her authority. By 2021, Casey was transferred back to a state prison, but the connection didn't end. Phone calls, letters, small talk, the kind of communication that grows quietly behind bars. Each word, a seed planted in secrecy. The Lauderdale County Jail was small, less than 300 inmates, overworked staff, limited supervision, cameras that didn't cover every corner. In small facilities like this, routines become predictable. Predictability breeds opportunity. Every Thursday morning, inmates scheduled for court or evaluations were driven out by officers. The van was checked, logged, and cleared at the gate. For years, the system worked, until someone inside decided to bend it.
April 28, 2022. Vicky tells her co-workers she'll escort Casey for a quick psychological evaluation at the courthouse. He's no trouble, she says. She also mentions she'll see a doctor afterward and won't return until later. She hands in her retirement papers the same week, sells her house for cash, and empties her savings. Every step looked like the final chapter of a career, but it was the opening move in a plan. April 29th. Vicky arrives early. She checks security assignments, makes small talk with deputies. At 9:15, she requests Casey from his cell block. He's in restraints, standard handcuffs, leg shackles. Camera footage shows them walking through the hallway. No backup officer, no second vehicle. Against protocol, but nobody questions the boss. At 9:30, the door buzzes open. She loads him into the back seat of her patrol car, closes the door, and drives out. The gate slides shut behind them. An hour passes. Dispatch realizes the transport van never checked in at the courthouse. Calls go unanswered. By 3 p.m., an alert is issued. Officer and inmate missing. By the next morning, authorities locate the patrol car abandoned in a parking lot. No sign of either. What began as a routine transport had become a nationwide mystery. U.S. Marshals join the case. They comb through bank accounts, phone records, surveillance footage. A pattern emerges. Vicky sold her home for $95,000 cash, bought a used Ford SUV under a false name, and withdrew her entire retirement savings. It wasn't a kidnapping. It was a partnership. Inside the jail, Months before the escape, Casey studies guard routines. He knows meal times, camera blind spots, transport schedules. At night, he writes letters, long, detailed, persuasive. He tells Vicky he dreams of freedom, of quiet places, away from noise and violence. He paints himself as a victim of circumstance, a man who just needs a second chance. And she believes him. Manipulation doesn't always look like control. Sometimes it looks like affection. Investigators later find security footage from a car dealership. A 2007 Ford Edge, orange copper, purchased in cash days before the escape. Registered under an alias, that car was their first stop after abandoning the patrol vehicle. Over the next few days, reports surface. Sightings in Tennessee, then in northern Alabama. Each lead vanishes as quickly as it appears. May 1st, the U.S. Marshals Service names Vicky White and Casey White to its top 15 most wanted list. Posters go up across multiple states. Reward, $10,000 for information. Every news network covers it, the story of the jail boss and her inmate lover. America couldn't look away. A veteran officer and a convicted killer running together, vanishing like ghosts. For 11 days, they managed to stay hidden. Reports later revealed they paid cash for motel rooms, switched vehicles twice, and stayed mostly indoors. Vicky dyed her hair, used wigs, and avoided surveillance cameras. Casey, heavily tattooed and recognizable, rarely left the car. Every hour on the run tightened the circle around them. They weren't just hiding from law enforcement, they were hiding from reality. May 9th, 2022, Evansville, Indiana. A local car wash attendant reports a suspicious vehicle, a gray Cadillac, parked for days. Police check the plate. It matches the alias used by Vicky White. Task forces surround the area. At 3 p.m., officers spot the pair leaving a motel, heading toward the Cadillac. A chase begins through city streets. The pursuit lasts only minutes. The vehicle crashes in a shallow ditch. Officers move in quickly. Casey steps out, hands up, shouting that he doesn't want anyone hurt. Vicky is found inside the car, injured. She's rushed to the hospital, where she later passes away. The chase was over. The story that began in a small Alabama jail ended on a quiet Indiana road. Casey is taken back into custody without resistance. He tells investigators, "She didn't deserve this. She was the only person who ever cared for me." Back in Alabama, shock ripples through the department. Her colleagues can't believe it. The woman who enforced every rule had broken them all. For some, it was betrayal. For others, tragedy. News coverage calls it the most unlikely prison break in modern America. Experts describe it as a textbook example of emotional manipulation, a criminal exploiting loneliness within the system. But it's also more complicated than that. She planned every detail, the timing, the finances, the getaway. This wasn't a moment of impulse, it was months of preparation. Love, loneliness, or control, no one truly knows what drove her. What's certain is that 2 lives were destroyed in pursuit of one impossible dream. Casey White remains incarcerated in Alabama under maximum security, serving multiple life sentences. The Lauderdale County Jail changed its transport policies, added new checks, and installed additional surveillance. Every transfer now requires 2 officers, no exceptions. At her funeral, fellow officers line the path in silence. Her badge lies atop the casket. The department retires her number. In the end, it wasn't a prison break fueled by violence. It was one powered by emotion and undone by reality. She walked out the gate as an officer and crossed it as an accomplice. The cost of freedom was everything. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as unbelievable as it sounds, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us, do you think it was love, manipulation, or madness?